these players could potentially be overhyped in drafts this year. Badake, who is your first player on this list?
My first player is Mike Davis. And, the hype is next level now. And don't get me wrong, I was on the hype train. I was it's Mike Davis season. This is it. This is the opportunity.
You were the conductor.
Yeah, I was the guy. I was in the front of the train here. Let's do it. For me, Mike Davis is falling for me, and I believe this is just overhyped. Okay, my concern to Mike Davis is can he handle the full workload?
Right.
And I think about what they did last year in Atlanta. Todd Gurley last year obviously had a decent year in the beginning of the season. Then he fell off. 195 touches just from Todd Gurley. Mike Davis has never even broke 160 plus touches in his career.
True.
Factor number 2 is this backfield. This backfield. Who's going to be the guy to relieve him? Is it going to be Javion Hawkins or Quadwell Alderson? I don't know how to really say that. It's a rookie.
Alderson, yeah.
There's a lot of talks of these young rookies coming in, and what do we know about Atlanta? They love to use that second RB. Ito Smith was a big part of.
Tevin Coleman.
Yeah, Tevin Coleman was a big part of all these guys kind of coming in and taking these touches away from these guys. I personally think this backfield can be a running back by committee. Another thing is that let's not forget what team this is. This is the Atlanta Falcons. This is Matt Ryan passing for 4,000 plus yards for 10 plus years. This is a pass first team. They're going to be throwing. Yes, they lost Julio Jones, but they did acquire, I believe, an even trade off. I guess you can say trade off. With Kyle Pitts.
At this point in their careers, Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts coming in to Atlanta Falcons. But, I just think it's just too high for me. I think where he's going right now, I'm a little bit uncomfortable. I think there's some other people I will be taking over Mike Davis, Ronald Jones, Damian Harris. I would take a young guy as a Michael Carter, take the chance on him. He can be coming in and getting a good workload. So
I'm going to read you a stat line for Mike Davis. Okay. You ready? Mm-hmm. 1,530 rushing yards. Okay. 11 touchdowns. 125 receptions. Where do you think that's from?
I think that's his whole career.
Exactly. That is his entire career. And I think people are projecting him to get around 1,000 yards in 1 year.
Correct.
To get around 6 to 7 to 8 touchdowns this year. Now, look, I am not anti-Mike Davis, but I get where this take is coming from. This is a guy who's been in the league since 2015. He's not a young spring chicken. No. He's 28 years old. And he has never really shown that he can be a workhorse guy.
That's right.
So there should be some natural worry. Yes, he had an amazing year last year, but he was also in an offense that was very centered around the running back. Yeah. The game plan in Carolina was very running back centric. I think the pro is that the Tennessee Titans offensive coordinator is now the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. So they're probably going to want to run the ball more. But yeah, I do agree. I'm not so certain that he can have an entire workload where he's being drafted in like the 4th round. That should potentially worry you. Maybe it's time to hop off the hype train.
Yeah. It can,
all right. My first player is Darrell Henderson.
Ooh.
And yes, I am fully prepared for the backlash. Look.
Oh, no.
The hype has gotten out of hand, people. Okay. We got people drafting Darrell Henderson in the 3rd round. In the 3rd round, people. Don't get me wrong. I was screaming Darrell Henderson as a late round steal in fantasy drafts before Cam Akers was injured. I was screaming, draft Darrell Henderson. You remember, draft him. He's one of the best late round steals. But why was I screaming that? Because I fully believe that Sean McVay wants a split backfield, a running back by committee.
Correct.
And he had a 12th round price tag on him at that point. Now you see him go in either the 3rd or 4th round. The issue is, I still think Sean McVay sees this backfield the same. I still don't think he wants it to be centered around one running back. And I was worried about Cam Akers, and now I'm worried about Darrell Henderson still. Let me ask you, would you rather have Darrell Henderson in the 3rd round or Ronald Jones in the 6th or Trey Sermon in the 7th?
Both of the other guys, please.
I mean, I think that we're maybe overvaluing Darrell Henderson because of the offense. The offense is amazing, but to assume that Henderson is going to get the full workload the entire year and stay healthy is a little bit out of my ability to trust him. if you look at the Rams backfield last year, okay, it was Russian roulette every week. I don't know if you remember this. The waiver wire every week was like, oh, go grab Malcolm Brown, drop Cam Akers, right? It was like, oh no, Daryl's the guy. Wait, no, it is Cam. It's like from week to week, it was so volatile based off of who was getting the touches, who was getting the work.
Correct.
I'm not so certain that Henderson is going to get like a 70% workload. I think these guys, Xavier Jones, maybe Jake Funk, maybe they still bring in a veteran running back. Like that's not something that would be uncommon in this situation.
Wow.
Like if they brought in a Adrian Peterson, would that surprise me? No, would it surprise you? No, I don't think so.
I think it's hard for me to see another veteran running back coming into this offense. I think the depth there is good. And I think, Jake Funk does come in. They really like Jake Funk and Xavier Jones.
Xavier Jones is looking nice.
Yeah, it's looking nice. So obviously, if you watch the Need to Know News and listen to the podcast, you hear all the hype that he was taking first team's reps and stuff like that. I think that I do believe you. I think there's opportunity. This could be a running back by committee backfield with Darrell Henderson. Darrell
Henderson will be the most valuable running back there in LA. Mm-hmm. But are you overvaluing him in drafts? That's all I want to ask. Who's your second player?
For me, it's Chase Edmonds. Okay. This is a guy
overhyped.
He's overhyped for me. This is a guy that we were talking about in our mock draft. There was a lot of controversies talking about saying, "Oh, why not Chase Edmonds? Why are you uncomfortable with him?" I think a lot of people were excited about Chase Edmonds coming into this season. He was going to be the lead back. He's be taking all of Drake's touches. Drake had 239 attempts last year. That's a lot. And Drake didn't start off well. He missed games too. Remember that. Yeah. And he still finished with 239 attempts. That's a lot to fill. Once again, when we've never seen Chase Edmonds fill this workload. It's a concern. Can he fill the workload? Can he be trusted? Can his body maintain it? 239 attempts last year.
He's not a big boy.
And then another part, they bring in James Conner from the Steelers. They brought him in for a reason. Okay. Yeah. Whether he's going to be utilized or split or he'll be utilized in the red zone. But there is one thing that I've noticed, especially on Twitter. There's been someone tweeted said there is talks that James Conner and Chase Edmonds will split the backfield, and whoever has 50-50. Whoever has the hot hand is going to be leading it. Yep. So that concerns me because if Chase Edmonds goes on a hot streak, cool. He plays one game, maybe he plays one full game, and James Conner, you barely see him on the field. Let's say one game he doesn't have too hard. He has one bad drive, Chase Edmonds. James Conner's the guy. It's an uncertainty week to week. That's what it sounds like to me, especially from that tweet,
I get it.
From that article.
I have probably swung on Chase Edmonds more than most players this offseason because I see the opportunities, But yeah, it does worry me when you look at, the one time he was able to be the lead running back last year was against Miami, and he had like 28 opportunities and he had like 10 fantasy points. It was shockingly bad. I think in PPR, he's still a good player, but I see him more as like a Nyheim Hines rather than like an Austin Eckler. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what I was going to say. When you said, he has good opportunity, he's a mixed match. He's a mixed match for these defenders. He can catch the ball. He can create space. So I do see that, but that's probably at best. Nyheim Hines is going what right now? 10th, 9th round. Yeah. That's not saying that's where I see Chase going, but that's where I see his value at.
Yeah, I think he has more value than Nyheim Hines. Like, let's be clear about that. But I think this this defense will be better with J.J. Watt, with a couple additions they've added. And if the defense is better and they're, not needing to score as many points, maybe James Conner will have a bigger role than we all expect. All right. My last overhyped player this year is Jamar Chase. Okay.
Oh, okay.
My first question is, why are we all assuming that Jamar Chase will instantly be the most valuable fantasy wide receiver in Cincinnati? I mean, are we not expecting him to take any time to acclimate to the NFL? Are we not expecting T. Higgins to make that leap? Are we not expecting Tyler Boyd to play a bigger role than maybe some people do believe?
Wow.
I'm not sure that Chase is going to, this year, in his rookie year, be the guy. Like, what if he is the second guy? this year, but we're drafting him as if he is the first. It takes guys time to acclimate. Don't you want to give Jamar Chase a full year to make mistakes, to learn the game before you go ahead and place a 4th round price tag on him in redraft leagues? And that's the other issue. You're taking him in the 4th or 5th round. We just did a mock draft on YouTube today.
Okay.
And someone took him in the 4th round. Here's the issue. People look at the rookies last year and they look at Justin Jefferson and they say, oh my God, Jamar Chase is this year's Justin Jefferson. That could be true, right? That could very well happen. But what's the difference? Justin Jefferson was drafted in like the 11th, 12th, 13th round of drafts last year.
Right.
He wasn't going in the 4th round. So of course you could take that chance on him because of the talent is there, because the situation is there. But the difference is the price tag. Personally, like I like taking 3 running backs in my first 5 picks of a redraft league.
I agree with you.
So if that's the case, then Jamar Chase is going to have to be your wide receiver 1 or 2. Do you want to have in a redraft league Jamar Chase your wide receiver 1? I'm not comfortable with that in a redraft league personally. And you also have to look who's going around Chase. I mean, some people are taking Jamar Chase over Cooper Kupp, over Robert Bobby Trees, over Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Adam Thielen, Amari Cooper. I love Jamar Chase. And I do think he will be the 1A, 1B with T. Higgins. But I'm just not sure when that will be. Will it be year 1 off the break? Maybe, but you're also not giving him any time to get acclimated to the NFL. So I think the price tag is too high. In Dynasty, I love him, but in redraft, I don't think I'll have any stock of Jamar Chase this year.
Right. I think the only thing I can probably rebuttal, which you kind of already said, was that, you know, you expect him to be the Justin Jeffersons of the league. But what if that's just the anticipation? You know, like why not take a chance? Because if all those guys are going off the board, you know, the Adam Thielens, the Chris Godwins, the Cooper Kupps, Jamar Chase, I still believe fits that tier of where those guys are going. So why not start off with that tier, that end of that tier, if that makes any sense?
Who's to say he's going to be the most valuable rookie this year?
Yeah, I mean,
as a wide receiver,
I can
like who's to say Jalen Waddle won't be more valuable? I'm not saying I predict that, but what if Jalen Waddle? What if it's Devonta Smith, Rashad Bateman, and you're drafting Elijah Moore, and you're drafting Jamar Chase?
People look at
way earlier than all those opportunities.
People look at the opportunity. People look at the targets that he's filling in, the AJ Green targets that he's filling in.
I get it,
and they like that. People like to know, wow, he's going to, 100 plus targets a game.
Yeah.
Or not a game, but for the season, whatever the case may be. Yeah, wow, that's great. I'll take that.
Totally. I think if I could define this in 2 words, risk aversion. Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos.
Watch it.
You can also subscribe.
Right now.
If you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/fantasylandfam.